Good morning, friends. As you can see, everyone's still just waking up this morning. It's a beautiful morning. I think I woke up, it was like 56 degrees, glorious. It's gonna heat up probably to the low 80s. But yesterday I harvested all the onions. Not a great onion year by any means, lots of small ones, but we do have some nice good sized ones. I don't know what I'm going to get done today with respect to these, but I know the first step is just cleaning them up. I'm not going to be using this batch as storage onions. We'll go to our farmer's market. I had great success with their onions last year, storing them for a long time. And had these done better, I would have taken time to cure them, but because they didn't, you know what, I'm just going to process them. How I'm going to process them, I haven't made up my mind. You guys will come along for that. And we need to at least start cleaning these up. I would guess there's 400 or 500 onions sitting here. So, but I think I want to do it on my front porch because I want to be comfortable. So we're gonna head up there. Well, you know you're special when I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee yet. So kind of like family. And my back's been bothering me, so I couldn't sit at the counter all day doing this, so I needed a pillow behind my back. By the way, welcome to that 1870s Homestead. My name's Rachel. And speaking of onions, does anyone know whose logo that is? My girl Constance over at A Good Life Farm. Oh, her recipes are amazing. She's got an excellent blog too, but she does have a channel called A Good Life Farm. Phenomenal cooking, canning recipes. She does like lots of vintage antique hauls, her own DIYs, shows you around her farm. And I first learned about the maple onion jam from her, and it will forevermore be a staple recipe in my pantry. So Constance, thank you for that. And then what I'm doing here, trying to be smart about it, is trying to remember the channel's name, and I'm not gonna remember it. They're from a country, Uzbekistan. Maybe you guys watch them, and they are totally off grid, and she preserves like very old fashioned traditional style. Everything's water bath in their country, and she taught me how to do this to peel my onions. I'm like, that is so smart. So I'm just peeling down the outer leaves and then chopping, because she processes, like I told Todd the other day, we were watching her and she was processing tomatoes. And you talk, I said, and people think my roasters are big batches. Like, I mean, she does like vats and vats. We tease that she's feeding the whole village. She's got to be. It's so much food. But when she was processing her big harvest of onions, I watched her do this. I was like, that is genius. And they just come so clean. Hold on. So you just peel down the outer leaves, and look how clean that is. You know how hard it is once an onion has cured, and then you're fighting with those outer leaves and you end up taking too much off, and it's just genius. So I'm just going to be peeling these initially, and I need to get another bowl because I want to keep my reds separate from my whites. And when I decide what I'm going to do, it just depends on how much energy I have. We'll come back and we'll pick up there. Okay, I can't lift it. This is what I have of white onions, and this bowl is a mix of red onions and white onions. For the most part, my red onions were puny. So that's a hand holding 2 small onions. White onions, not as bad. I mean, I've got some nice ones. So the thing is I do know how to grow big onions. I've mastered that. I know how to do it. And this year, I didn't have the time in the garden, and I'm happy with what I got considering, but tons of weed pressure in where my onions were planted. I mean, well, first, I don't know how many times I had to replant these starts because the birds went through and pulled them all out, replanting them. Then the weeds came. I weeded them twice, but the weed pressure kept coming back. And I think I only fed them twice. I never spooned them. It was a super hot, dry summer. We did supplement with watering. But anyway, that being said, this is not enough onions to last us. Not even close. We eat onions daily, regularly. And so what I'm doing, I've already got a video on it, so this is not the how to do what I'm doing. It's just letting you know how I'm preserving these. All my red onions, I'm just going to dice. Let me grab that tool and show it to you guys. This tool has been used and abused. I'm not quite sure what the name of it even is anymore, but you put your onion here, chop it down, it chops your onions for you. I love it. You don't have to have all those fumes coming back at your face. These are going to be diced, put down in the freezer. This amount of onions alone probably won't even do me for my canning needs. So I will have to go to the farmer's market and pick up onions, both for canning recipes and for storage for the winter. All of these I'm turning into my caramelized onions and my maple jam stock. So I just did a check while I was down in the basement pulling up my roaster, and I do this in the roaster. So I'm kind of just talking tools now that I use. The nice thing about thinking about doing caramelized onions and my maple onion jam at the same time is maple onion jam starts with caramelized onions as the first step in the process. So if I just run these all through till they're caramelized, I'll have caramelized onions to put up and then the start of my onion jam. For caramelized onions, I don't do diced, just slices, not rings, but horizontal slices. And then, is it horizontal? No, vertical. Vertical? I guess it's the way you hold the onion. Anyway, and then I did save a few, because that's all that there was, of green, like the strong necks that weren't all the way soft yet. And I'm just going to dice those, put those in a freezer bag for quick green onions, add to meals. Anyway, so this is my onion harvest for the year. It's what I'm doing with it. If you're interested in the farmer's market that we go to, we plan on doing a video bringing you guys with us, getting up to the farmer's market and getting some additional things that I need to put up for the year that I either didn't grow or, like onions, my harvest wasn't enough. So with that being said, I got lots of chopping to do. My handy dandy chopper, known as Todd, is in the shower, so when he gets out, he will make very quick work of this. If you guys know, you know his chopping skills are far superior than mine. But yeah, if you're interested in caramelized onions, canning those, or the maple onion jam, we'll put end cards and links in the description to those videos. I can't imagine my life without shelf-ready caramelized onions anymore, because that just makes such fast work when you are making a meal that needs caramelized onions. And then you think of ways to include it in meals that you otherwise wouldn't include it in because of the work it takes to caramelize onions. So, I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for coming along. And happy growing and gardening where you are.